Hey, what's going on? I'm Jacob Haynes, and today I'm looking back to see whether or not my MBA was worth it, and if you should get yours as well. The MBA isn't what it used to be, though. It used to be this huge title that came with wanting to be a CEO or working on Wall Street, but they're more and more prevalent, just like bachelor's degrees, with online schools popping up every day offering MBA programs. They're not what they once used to be, nor what they were once justified with salary-wise. And considering that, should you get your MBA if you're aspiring to do so? I'd say only under two terms should you consider so. One, unless your desired place in life, in your career, is fully requesting an MBA, or your managers are saying, if you want to be in this position, you need an MBA, then yes. If it justifies a large salary that'll reimburse you what you paid for and the time that you invested in it, then yeah, I would consider it. But if you're just making assumptions that you might need it or it might look good, then I wouldn't consider it necessarily. And the second reason that I would get an MBA, if I was in your shoes, would be if my employer is already paying for it. Now, you have to realize that most big corporations offer some kind of employee benefit where they'll pay for your continuing education. And if they're doing that and you have the time to spend to put into MBA where you can knock it out in a few years, then yeah, I would definitely consider that. Or if you're saying, Jake, my small business that I work for, a medium-sized business, doesn't have that kind of benefit. If you've been there a while or you plan on continuing to be there for a while, it might be worth the conversation still, sitting down with the owner or your manager and saying, hey, I want to stick with this company. I want to add as much value as I can. And I think that an MBA would be the next right move to help add to my repertoire, to help your business. Would you help me in this education process? I'd say most business owners and most businesses would take you up on that offer. And here's one piece of advice that I would impart on you to think about whether or not you truly will need or want your MBA. It's a loan, so think of it as a loan. Think of it as a small business loan instead. Are you going to pursue something and put $50,000 or $100,000 into that you aren't sure whether or not there's a market for it, or that you can get customers, or that you'll even like it? No, you wouldn't bet $50,000 of a bank's money and losing your house or losing your car over something that you're not sure you want to pursue or that will be ROI positive. I think similarly in those same ways. If I get this MBA now, if I get this degree and invest this money, will I get that money or time back? Doing the money figures is a lot easier since you can say, well, will I get the $25,000 that I'm putting towards this back in salary? The time's a little bit different because that's not necessarily an objective value associated. So let's put a value on it. Let's say that based off deferred wages, if you get your MBA and you're able to get what you're trying to achieve, then it costs $100,000 per hour to employ you with that MBA. Let's say the MBA costs you somewhere like 6 hours a week and you do it for 2 years. That would be $62,400. So then you have to ask yourself, based off deferred wages with the time that I'm putting into this, will I get that amount back? These are the things I just want you thinking about if you're trying to evaluate whether or not this is going to be worth it. Even beyond just putting money down, writing a check for the tuition, think about deferred wages and what is your time worth? And considering that math equation, considering those metrics, was it worth it for me? Yeah, but mine was a different situation. Let me explain. I actually graduated with my associates at 18, bachelor's at 20, and MBA by 22. So when I graduated with my bachelor's, I wanted to stick around for 2 more years because most of my friends still had 2 more years to go. Looking around in the local area I was at, and I found a job, thankfully, with the college as an admissions counselor. It was a low-paying job, but part of the benefit of it was they would pay for your continuing education for free. Nothing out of pocket for you and your dependents. And I was single at the time, so I thought, yeah, I'm not married. I can hunker down for 2 years and get this knocked out in a year and a half. But if I really double up, and then that's behind me, I don't have to worry about it again. And it's a cool marketing tool on my resume because when I was doing internships and trying to get a job after the fact, it was definitely a pretty hard job market. And I guess I didn't market myself well enough. because I found it really hard to get into the field that I wanted to. So I thought an MBA would definitely help me. And that's all it was. It never got me, skip level above everybody else. It maybe showed that I had a little bit more drive in getting my MBA, but really I just used it as a wow factor when sitting down and discussing employment terms, specifically with salary. I could always justify a little bit more cost when I was trying to push for, $5,000 or $10,000 more than everybody else because I had my MBA. And that worked most of the time. I was able to justify a little bit more. And when we're considering deferred wages, $62,400 of time that I spent in this 2-year degree, did I get that much out? I'd say, yeah, already I've almost gotten probably 50,000 plus out of it, just being able to negotiate my way up and justify more salary wise, even in just the past 4 or 5 years of being out of school for that. So when we're talking about, my entire career, the next 40 years, and that additional 5 or 10,000 more than everybody else, then yeah, I got a substantial amount of ROI out of it. But that might not be the case for you and may not be the case for everybody. And here's another misconception that I want to clear up. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to start a business or a side hustle, whatever, and you're thinking maybe the next thing I should do is get an MBA, I would say, no, do not. Please, seriously. If you want to start your own thing, just go out and find a customer, fill a market, get an email campaign going, do something, because what an MBA is just going to become is another excuse. Well, I got to get my MBA before I get started. Well, I got to do this, got to do that. If you just start, just put yourself out there, and whether it be picking up poop or walking dogs or babysitting, whatever, do something to get started, to where you can get paid for something that is truly your own that you can build off of. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself right now. And let me know if you have any questions about the MBA or anything that I mentioned here. Please mention so in the comment section below. Subscribe if you like it. And again, my name is Jacob Haynes. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.